Focus on me. So, what's up, Dave? How you doing? We should start this off with a toast. So, Maggie, bring it in.
Medicine.
This isn't a show directly about drinking alcohol, but
We just like to drink alcohol.
always ends up that way. So this past week, I wasn't here last weekend because I was in the field at my job in the infantry in the Marine Corps. But anyway, so I almost died. So last day, so we were out there for 7 days. We were told we were going to be out there for 8 days, but we were out there for 7 days. No, we were out there for 6 days. And then they were like, hey guys, we're leaving tomorrow. So 7 days instead of 8. So we thought we were going to leave a day early. So we're super stoked about that. Then the next day rolls around. We pack up all our shit. We're like not giving a shit about getting water resupply, not giving a shit about getting food resupply. And then at the last second, like, hey, we're going to do patrolling attacks or probing attacks out to the enemy. So then we said, like, our morale just, like, dropped all of a sudden because we thought we were leaving that morning. Then we end up going to, like, this administrative, like, position. So, like, we didn't care about security. We didn't care about any of that. And we stayed there for a while, and then we designed attacks against the enemy. And we just came up with, like, 100% unconventional attacks. So the position that the enemy was in was literally, like, the highest point in that side of Camp Pendleton. There's literally, like, 500 meter elevation, and we were right next to the ocean, so it was, like, just way the fuck up there.
Mm-hmm.
So our plan was that we would drive up with a 7-ton with a water buffalo on the back, which is like a giant barrel of water.
Yep.
So we're going to drive up there with the lights on, pull up to their position and be like, hey, let us in, we're trying to give you water. And then after we sneak in there, drive up all the way to the CP, the control post, and fucking
Just V-bed the fuck out of them?
and then
Just
like
dead it?
and then no, just like get out there with a squad of dudes and just like light up the CP and just like execute a bunch of people. So we ended up calling it Operation Trojan Magnum. So like the Trojan horse, and then it went to Trojan Magnum, obviously. And then
As ops do.
yeah, so we literally just had like all team leaders of the platoon. Like it was gonna be one squad per platoon doing an attack. So we literally just had all team leaders, all squad leaders, and platoon sergeant and platoon commander. So literally just like the best dudes in the platoon to be on this op. So we're in the back of a 7-ton hiding. So we weren't sitting in the actual seats. We were like literally like laying down on the floor of the 7-ton, which is like this big semi-trailer truck type deal.
Yeah.
So we ride out there and we start going up like this steep elevation, hills, twists and turns all the way up here. And then we reach this point where this guy's like, hey, you can't come in here. So it's like, that's the enemy. And then the guy driving's like, no, you let us in there. We're already late. We're here to get you water. By the way, we're all dressed in deserts and they're wearing woodlands. So like deserts is the op for the enemy, which is us. We're playing the enemy in this thing. And then eventually he starts ground guiding us in to it. So he like moves the C wire out of the way, like moves all the obstacles, starts ground guiding us in.
Constantina wire. Razor wire.
Yeah, and that's eventually. So we start driving up, and then it's like, and it started like sliding back like on this hill, and we're just like freaking out right there, which like it was a little worrying because we knew we might fall off a cliff and just like die, but like it wasn't that bad. And then finally, like he's like, all right, I'm gonna go talk to my gunny real quick and make sure you guys you're good to go. So he walked away, and then we just like fucking took off and just like drove past. And then we finally make it up all the way to the peak of it, the top of the hill, and there's no enemy there. So they're actually like lower down on the hill. So we're trying to pull this like 8-point turn around on like
water buffalo trailer.
Yeah, with the water buffalo, like so it's like super fucking scary. And then literally the back flap is just open, and me and all my buddies are just sitting in the back of this trailer, and they ditched the water buffalo because we can't make this turn. And eventually we're like backing it up to like, this is the edge of the cliff. So it's like we're backing up, and then we see out the back of this trailer, it's just open, and we don't see ground anymore. We literally just see like
nothing but sky.
empty sky, and it's like 500-meter drop to the earth. We just see that, and he's still backing up. Literally everybody in the back of the trailer was like, stop, motherfucker. And then we were just like not joking anymore, just like not laughing, like fuck. Like we were just like all freaking out, just like heart pounding, and then like stops, and then like we hear a guy outside like, fuck, I'm not in the trailer. Like the dude ground guiding is like, fuck, I'm not in the trailer.
Fuck you guys.
And then we pull forward again, like forward. There's not much space on the top of this hill, so he starts pulling forward. We're like, all right, stop, because we don't know what's like he's looking into. Literally back and forth for like 10 minutes. Like we thought like we were like close to death over and over and over again. I was like, at what point, fuck this up? I'm jumping out of this truck, and I'm just like not dealing. Like I'm just walking back. I don't give a shit.
I'll just run down the hill shooting. Fuck 'em.
Dude, like, oh my god. And then eventually, so we finally turn around. We drive all the way down. We reach the enemy, and then our sir gets out. And it starts walking over the CP like, hey, where's the CO? So the commanding officer, like company officer. Where's the CO at? And then he's like, yeah, I'm over here. And then he fucking throws a grenade over there. And he starts running back. And they didn't know what was happening. And then the entire squad was out, just like straight up like 80s action movie, like like the entire. And then the grenade went up. Literally, like everybody was in their sleeping systems at this point. Like nobody knew what was happening. They're like getting out of their sleeping systems. At this point, it was like one-sided paint, so like only we took casualties because, you know, we're supposed to lose. We're the bad guys. But we literally like executed like all the high-ranking officials inside this like post because there's no security on like the command post. Like you're not supposed to get to that point until you have to fight through all their defenses. Yeah. But literally, that's where like the point of attack was. So like we just had like 12 guns.
Fuck those guys in particular.
We had 12 guns on just like a first sergeant, a CEO, you know, gunny, like literally all the high-ranking people, the radio operators and shit like that. But then we ended up taking all the casualties. But then, like, the other two platoons also attacked different companies' CPs and succeeded. So, literally, the enemy took, like, 100% casualties. Just command, like, high-ranking officials. Just, like, straight up assassinated, like, gunned down. At some point during the field op, like, we were, like, putting the heat on them so much, they told us to, like, turn it down. Like, the amount that we were fucking them up as one battalion versus two. Because we were just like so fucking aggressive, like about winning. The advantage that we had is like we didn't need an egress plan. We were gonna die on there.
Yeah, just fucking. We're going to fight until we die.
Yeah, we're gonna die on every single hill. And like the story that we were telling ourselves is like, no, this is our land. We will die here.
Fuck yes.
Born wherever we came from to die in Camp Pendleton. That's where we're at.
My goddamn hill, I'm taking it back.
Yeah, it was an interesting week. At first, still kind of like. The way Op 4 worked for us before was like you wore civilian clothes and like you drove up in a van and you would do like a drive-by and you would like go away. But no, our Op 4 operation was like super by the book, legit, which at first was kind of dumb, but then it turned out to like we were fucking up so bad that it came out like it was almost like us versus them. Like it actually became like a war.
Yep. That's usually what ends up happening is fucking like one side because you know what the game plan is. You know how they operate.
Yeah.
You're them. So, you just be a dick about it. Like, I'm going to exploit all these things that I know I've always seen as a problem.
They won't think a 7-ton with the lights on driving up with a water bowl is going to be enemy. They're going to be like, oh, fuck, water resupply, finally. Yep. And then we drove away with the water, like, even if they were expecting it. Yeah, it was great. As far as the escape room goes, though, I didn't get to interact with it at all. So, this is probably going to be a very unescape room, like, podcast.
And moving on.
Yeah, so what have you been up to this week?
Well, I've been working on quitting smoking. Stopped drinking soda, so just rum.
Yeah, so we're taking a more healthier approach to this.
Alcoholism.
Now we're just drinking straight alcohol.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
there's less calories this way.
Yeah. Really, I think this is healthier. How long have you been keeping this up?
About a week now, but I don't know what lit a fire under my ass, but I need to do something for pushing my weight, pushing my life.
Yeah,
I need to do something. But
and everything will get better with it. Like
I already feel a lot better, just from stopping drinking so much soda because I was drinking fucking 6-8 sodas easy in a day, sometimes just in a night at work,
and then 25 cigarettes.
Yeah, like freaking and. No, just freaking from cutting the soda out initially. I'm sleeping better. I'm waking up feeling better. I'm fucking not like dying every damn morning, feeling groggy, dreading ass. Drinking water, fucking occasional milk.
I remember you telling me like a year ago, or like maybe like 6 months ago, that drinking water was gross to you.
No, I still absolutely despise water, but it's all I got to drink it, bro.
You know that is. So what I've been hearing, I don't know how true this is, but apparently, like your gut bacteria actually gives you the cravings that you want based on the gut bacteria that's inside of you. So like it would like decide what sounds good to you. So if you literally don't eat that much sugar for a long ass time, you won't have the gut bacteria that's attracted to that. So you won't actually have those cravings. But if you have it regularly, you'll have that gut bacteria and do that. So what I think is, for a long ass time, you didn't have like the proper like gut bacteria to actually enjoy water or vegetables or anything healthy.
I still hate water, but I'm drinking the crap out of it. But I am having a craving for like fruit, but fruit still screws my stomach up.
Yeah.
Like eating too much fruit or
eating
raw veggies fucking still jacks my stomach up.
I wouldn't really eat fruit either. Like I don't eat fruit. Like it's super sugary, super carby. But vegetables though, like vegetables and meat.
If I eat veg and fruit, like fruit, I have to break it down a lot But veg, same thing. I would gotta boil the dog shit out of it, stews and things like that, which I'm fine with. Too much for raw though just jacks my stomach up.
Yeah.
But
if the carnivore diet was cheaper, I think that would be pretty.
Yeah, no, I'd be down. But
yeah,
no. Freaking beef is so damn expensive nowadays, especially freaking been eating so much pork and chicken.
Well, the way you got to do it is you got to get like that big ass roll from Walmart. Mm-hmm. It's literally like 2 feet long. Yep. It's like what is it, like $11 for like that fucking log? That's how you
monster chub.
Cause like if you get that, do you eat eggs? Do you like eggs?
I like eggs.
So you get that, and then you get like the $6.50 eggs at Walmart. Like those two things, like that's breakfast and lunch, or breakfast and dinner right there, and it's like less than $1 a day for fucking good. And then you just have to add vegetables and all that other shit.
Yeah, that's I don't know. There's a lot of shit. I love spinach. I like tomatoes, but even those start to jack my stomach up. I like onions. If you dice that all up, made a little omelet and some mushrooms, I'd be happy. Be good. But I don't know.
I'm starting to think. I've been doing like keto for a while, and I'm starting to think to do more of just eating healthy food, and so like with doing proper keto, you're supposed to like limit the amount of protein you're supposed to eat. Like only about 30% of the food you take in is protein, and then everything else is like vegetables and fat. And even with the vegetables, you gotta limit the amount of carbs you put in. But I really like meat and protein.
So do I.
Well, I like weightlifting, so for that you gotta have like
high protein meals.
Yeah, so I mean, there's dudes that put on a lot of muscle mass with keto, but whenever I'm done working out, I want to eat a fucking fat juicy steak.
Yeah, dude, just chunk it down on the plate. Yeah, I know. I'm that freaking every day though. I'd eat freaking steak the rest of my damn life.
Which is fine. Like that's good, because like there's nothing wrong with steak. There's nothing wrong with bacon. There's nothing wrong with eggs. Yeah,
except for if I can afford it.
Yeah.
The price is the only thing wrong with it.
That's why eggs and hamburger.
Yeah. Like that hamburger's freaking getting expensive. It's about a day is 2 days touching. Everything's expensive as shit.
So one thing that I read, you ever heard of Tim Ferriss?
Yes.
Yeah, what he talks about is the way you could get on a good diet is literally eat the same meal for breakfast and lunch every single day, and then dinner's like the only thing you have to worry about. So for breakfast, we always have like eggs and then either sausage or bacon, literally like religiously, and I enjoy it every single morning. And then lunch we kind of like sometimes skip and then just go to dinner, or it's like a little snack or whatever. And then dinner's like the only thing we have to worry about, and that keeps it cheap. So like I probably spend about fucking like 60 cents on breakfast every single day for one of us, so like $1.20 for breakfast for both of us, because it's just eggs and then like salt, pepper, some salt, like sauce. Yeah, so and like that.
Not a bad idea.
I mean, it's a lot of protein, a lot of good fats in it.
That's another thing with my schedule that's kind of kind of the pain in the ass. Because I get home around 9 a.m.,
Mm-hmm.
but then I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
So that's my dare time. And I end up waking up around 3, 4 in the afternoon. And then, so that's my breakfast. So I've got to start in the middle or towards the end of everybody else's day. So I'm separate from everybody else in the household. So, kind of pain in the ass. And then for when I'm at work, obviously I'm eating whatever everybody else had for dinner for my lunch.
Or like what's in the area of the hospital.
Yeah, pretty much. Like if I can go pick something up.
Which you work at Kaiser Hospital as security, right?
Yeah. So the only things around it, technically not allowed to leave the property, but fuck them. The only things around it are friggin' Wiener Schnitzel, Del Taco. They tore down the McDonald's.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Maggie used to work right in that little center.
Yep. They tore that down. So it's just friggin' taco, Del Taco and Wiener Schnitzel. King Taco's open until like 1, depending on the day.
Sushi.
Yeah,
that's sushi.
Sushi's that's shut down there. The
Really?
only thing I got is Wiener Schnitzel, and that's open until like 1 or 2, and Del Taco now. Other than that, everything's closed.
Hey, you want to eat sushi tomorrow?
I'm fucking down.
Tomorrow's like our cheat day, and we're gonna go see that.
Oh, okay. I know what that is.
Yeah.
What time?
I don't know.
Because freaking, I gotta be down the hill by noon.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And then I'll be back around 6
p.m. Oh fuck.
p.m.
That's gay.
Yeah, and then freaking I've got to turn around and go back down at 10.
Try to do it in the morning, I guess.
Yeah, it'd have to be like freaking as soon as I get up.
Are you trying to see the movie too?
What time?
I don't know. We have to squeeze it all in before noon. Cause like I'm down for fucking sushi for breakfast.
Yeah, so why? But well, if we can fucking find a sushi joint that's open that early.
Really? They're not.
Yeah, usually freaking they don't open until freaking lunchtime. Yeah, there's a lot that don't open until like dinner. Yeah.
Damn, that sucks.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Actually, yeah, I remember. Being locked out of it. Got to figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah, because freaking if we'd hit it, and sit something in the afternoon, it'd be all right. And then freaking I have to turn around and go back down fucking 10:30. I gotta be out. So. Yeah.
Yeah.
They fucked me royally on that.
All
or
right.
I could just ditch it and fucking take the ride up.
The earliest movie is at 9:50.
9:50. All right, we're recording a podcast. We're trying to organize movies. Okay. Yeah. So you cut out smoking, cut out soda, and you're exercising every single day.
Yeah. I walked about 7.5 miles on top of my usual patrol at work.
Mm-hmm. Do you have protein shakes?
No, I do not.
One thing that Tim Ferriss also said was just doing. So he told his dad was like regularly exercising, wasn't eating super great. He was like doing okay, but he told his dad to right when he woke up in the morning to drink a protein shake, and then that one change like fucking got everything like going. So maybe you should just start the morning with or like whenever you wake up after work with the protein shake, and like have that be like your regular schedule. Because what I think it does too is like it puts something in your system to where you're not like instantly hungry or craving something. You already got something in.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then it's protein, so you're recovering already.
Let's say freaking I had a bunch of protein bars that are freaking up in the cupboard, and I've been taking those just.
Protein bars
nobody else eating them.
Protein bars are awesome, but they're like expensive.
Well, yeah, I didn't pay for them.
Yeah,
but they're all up there, so I've just been grabbing one, eating, and freaking moving.
Yeah.
Take a little half glass of milk with it, and
definitely should get protein powder.
Yeah, probably wouldn't be a terrible idea.
All right, cool. Got that off the table. All right, so now we can bang the table and it doesn't affect the mics at all.
Mm-hmm.
What else happened this week? I had something else I wanted to tell you. Forgot about it.
Dun dun dun.
Anyway, tell me about this game that we're gonna play tomorrow.
Warcry. Warcry just came out about a month or two ago from Games Workshop, but it's interesting. It's Age of Sigmar, so used to be Warhammer Fantasy. Now it's moved over to Age of Sigmar. So basically, it all takes place in the Chaos area. So they're individual like groups or war bands inside of Chaos. So there's 6 right now, I do believe. And then they also made card packs for expansions for existing armies outside of Chaos. So Death, like I've got my Skellies, I've got my Nighthaunt, I've got my Flesh Eater Courts. So I've got those, but then they also have like Orcs and all the other ones. But they don't have other Chaos ones. So like Shrimp, Dave, he runs all Chaos shit. So he can't use any of his stuff in it.
Because it's not in the game at all?
Yeah, it's not in it. Well, they just finally came out with a new book, which I just say just finally. The other game's been out, a month, and they're already coming out with new expansion shit. But monsters and mercenaries. So now there's different things you can come in with. So if you and I are playing, and I've got my warband, and I'm like, I want to try to add a monster to this. I want to try and fight, say, a Terrorgeist. If you agree to it, you can play that Terrorgeist. And now my whole warband has to fight that freaking Terrorgeist. Now, if I win, I get to add that Terrorgeist to my squad. And it goes in my war roster. But if I lose, bad things happen. Like I lose territory, or my guys could perma-die. All these different things.
So you can do a campaign mode of...
Yeah. And that's another cool thing with the actual warbands. When you play campaign mode, if I'm starting out my campaign, but you've been playing for a couple days, different people, I can still play you. You're going to be playing your warband, I'm going to be playing mine, but your warband may be up to 1,200 points. Mine still may, is going to start out at 1,000. We're still going to play, and the war scenario, or the actual scenarios as the game goes, we're going to play it out. Now, win or lose, if you win, you get so many like glory points, which you can spend on different things to increase your you can buy not land. You can conquer territories on the road, basically, that you're moving through. You can expand.
So is it
troops.
like
You can give different artifacts?
Plot-wise, are you fighting for like a city or something?
Well, basically, if you're playing as one of the warbands, you're fighting for favor with, I think it's Archeon, which is the leader of the Chaos. Altogether, you're fighting for favor from him, because you're not one of the main warbands amongst Chaos. If you're one of the other armies from outside of it, you're kind of just challenging Chaos as you're wandering through the land and conquering their territories, taking over their areas.
So you're like a squad running through and just fighting over and over again?
And unlike, this is kind of like Kill Team, whereas you're playing on a 22 by 30 inch board with your train setup. But unlike Kill Team, your warbands, the way you set it up is quite a bit different. You've got 4 decks of cards that you're going to draw from. One of them is going to be your train. One of them is going to be your scenario, what your winning victory conditions are going to be. There's going to be a twist. So, it might be raining, might be nighttime. There might be monsters running around on the battlefield that you or your opponent might have to take control of and might be just running around screwing shit up. Then there's also going to be the deployments. So you've got your 4 different cards, and you're going to draw those out. So your battlefield is going to be set up, one way. And then your deployments, whoever won the first roll-off, is going to be, you're going to split your squad up into 3 different teams. So one's going to be your dagger, one's going to be your shield, one's going to be your sword, your hammer. So with those 3 different squads, your shield has to be at least 1/3 of your force. So the other ones, you can make 1 guy apiece, and all the rest can be in the shield, or you can break them up evenly as long as 1/3 of your force is in the shield. But then you set up your deployments. So you might have, like, your dagger might not come in till round 2 or round 3 from certain edge of the board. Whereas, mine came in round 1. So it just depends. Or you might not have your sword or your dagger or your hammer at all. You might just have your shield unit, which you had to break it up beforehand. So now you're stuck with maybe 3 dudes.
Mm-hmm.
And now those 3 dudes have to survive 3 rounds. And they can't come within 4 inches of the edge of the board. Or, so these different things. So the scenarios play out different. So you've got millions of different combinations that can happen. And so it kind of keeps the games interesting.
Right.
Also, when you're figuring out initiative for each round, so you're going to have 6 dice, I'm going to have 6 dice. We're both going to roll. So if I roll and I get 1 set of doubles and 1 set of triples, and then I have 1 wild or 1 random dice, then I've got 1 double, 1 triple, 1 wild, or 1 single. And then I've got 1 wild dice. You roll, you've got 1 double and 4 random dice. So you win initiative. Whoever has the most singles wins initiative.
But the other guy gets something else.
With the doubles and triples and quads, you have a card that has a list of abilities for your guys. So you can spend a quad to do your powerful thing, your powerful ability, which might be for my Death Army, my skeletons, I can raise the dead with a triple. So I can bring back a dead fighter, and if it was 666s, I can take 6 wounds off that fighter's health and bring him back into the fight. If it was only 1s, I only pull 1 wound off, and he comes back with...
Is there a all 6 the same, like a Yahtzee?
Well, not really, because if you can only get up to quad, so
okay.
4 are the same. If you Yahtzeed and all 6 were 5s,
you'd have a 4 and a 2, or
you'd have a 4 and a 2, or 2 3s. Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
You break it up how you want.
Could you say 4 singles at that point? Like, no, I just want initiative.
No.
Okay.
If they have to be singles. But here's another interesting thing: is you get 1 wild dice each round. So you can, if I got the doubles, the triples, and a single, I can use that wild to make that single into another double. Or I can make that double into a triple, or that triple into a quad. Or I can save that dice. So if I save that wild dice till the next round, then I have 2 wild dice. So I can add those, but you can't add 2 dice to the same set. So if I've got a double, I can't make that a quad with those 2 dice. I have to make that a triple, and I can make another double a triple, or a triple a quad. So, but you can save those dice for later on down the road. So it's kind of that executive decision, like, do I want to save it or do I want to spend it now? How bad might I need this? Now, usually the way it works is, unlike Warhammer 40,000, Warhammer 40,000's played where if I won initiative in round 1, I move my entire army, and then I do all my shooting and attacks, and you get hammered with whatever I have, and then you move all yours, and then you do all your shooting and attacks. Well, even unlike that, this one, I've got 1 guy, you got 1 guy. If I have initiative, I move that 1 guy, and I have 2 actions I can do. I can either move, or I can move, attack, or I can attack if I'm right on top of you or I'm within range with my weapon. Or I can fall back and then move, or I can fall back and then, get into attack range, whatever. Or you can wait. Now, if you wait for your first action, you can take another action later on in the round. If you wait for your second action, you're done. So, if I move and then wait, he's done.
Oh, okay.
But if I don't move at all, and I just sit in one place and go, I don't want to move him yet, but I have to activate him, you can just hit wait. and then it goes to your turn, and then it would come back to me. Then I would have to do something else with them.
Right.
But also, fun fact. So each one of the guys on your squad, you have a card for, and on that card, there's symbols. So you're gonna have like the strength, you're gonna have the toughness, you're gonna have the speed, how fast they can run, how far they can run in inches. Then you're gonna have the weapon type, the weapon's attack characteristics. So, like my necromancer. My necromancer has 2 different weapons. One is like a magic bolt, and then the other's his staff, so I can club you with it from 2 inches away. The other one, I can shoot you with friggin' fireball or whatever from 7 or 8 inches away.
Right.
But the staff, I've got like 4 attack dice with, and the actual magic, I've got like 2. Or 1 or 2. So it's not good odds of me getting. And then you've got the toughness of the attack. Or the strength of the attack. So my staff, I've got like a strength of like 4. Whereas the lightning bolt or fireball or whatever might only have a toughness of 3. So I compare that to your guys' toughness. So the strength of mine, so say mine's a 4, and your toughness of your guy's a 4. So that's going to be 4 ups on my attack. Now, if I had a 4 and you had a 3, that's 3 ups because I'm beating your thing, so I have to have it 3 and up to beat it.
We're going to have to record this game.
Yeah.
This is a large segment of the podcast talking about the rules.
Yeah, this is just the rules. But, yeah, no, anyways, what's cool is the dice rolls. So, if I have to get 4 ups, but I've got 4 attacks. So I roll, and I get 1 4, a 2 and a 3, and a 6. So that 4 beats your toughness, my strength to your toughness. So there's a damage indicator. One of them is regular hits, then there's crits. So regular hits for your more powerful dudes are usually like 2 or 3. So that 1 4 does 2 or 3 damage. But that 1 6 is critical. Anytime you get 6s, they're criticals. So that's usually like 5 or something. So that'd be, 7 to 8 damage for that 1 hit. Now, if I'm attacking again, I can roll those 4 or 5 or whatever amount of attacks again. So it's sometimes you can get stupid good hits where you just roll 3 6s and a 5 or whatever. So every one of your dice hits, and the majority of them are crits. So you're doing like freaking 15 to 19 or 20 damage.
Right.
And you're doing stupid damage. But like some of the Iron Golems guys, their wall breaker or whatever he's called, I can't remember. He's got like 30 wounds. So you're going to have to kind of chew at him. For my Flesh Eater Court, some of those guys got 30 and 40 wounds. Some of the bigger guys. But usually you've got like 8, 10, 15, tend to be standard 20. So things like that, it's a fast-moving game. Round 1, generally you're in combat. Like off the bat, freaking you're in a fight already. So it doesn't tend to screw around. But at the same time, a lot of these scenarios are only 3 rounds. So the games go quick. You do have some scenarios where it's just like, you're going to go until this ends. So you're fighting this out. And there's beasts running around. So you've got Raptorixes and Furies.
Like third party.
Well, there's
animals?
Exactly. Like third party. Freaking there's Raptorixes and Furies, 2 different beasts that might be running around the battlefield in the scenario. Which the way those work is, if we're playing and we're taking turns activating our minis, these other beasts are on the field, and I can go, I'm going to try to activate this Raptorix, so I'm going to roll. On a 1 or 2, I fail, and you get to control it now. So now you can send it at me.
Right.
But on 3, 4, 5, 6, I get control of it, and I can send it where I want to. So I activate it like another member of my squad, and I just move it, 1 action, 2 action.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then you can do the same thing if there's another one on field. So Yeah, so there's possibilities of having these beasts running around the fields, and there's actually even scenarios where you can kind of tame one and get it into your squad. And if you're playing campaign, there's actual scenarios where you end up with throwing them into your squads, and you'll have just a raptor as part of your squad now, and you're building your point scores. So pretty nifty. And then you conquer territories. But if you're playing campaign, which is also awesome because, I can play you with it, and then I can go play her, and then I can go play Ivar, and that.
And it'll be your campaign.
Yeah, it's just my campaign. But you're playing your guys' campaigns as well, or not, or whatever. We're just running through. So we just keep carrying on. And, if I get sick of playing my leeches and the dash guys, I can pick up my splintered fang guys and run those and make my own squad. And you're gonna name each individual in your squad.
That's pretty cool.
You're gonna have a background for it. So like my legions and the dash, we are legion is the squad or is my army. But my necromancer was trained under Nagash himself, and my force comes from conquered foes. So anytime at the end of the battle, you roll and you see for each one of your guys that's fallen, there's a possibility they're permadead.
Right.
So anybody who permadies, like on Dave's army, I take his and write it into mine. And now that's another guy I'm going to add to my army.
Oh, okay.
So whoever his guy that died in his force is now I'm putting into my army as one of the characters I can draw and put into my army now.
Because you're...
And if I won that battle, I have enough points, I can add him into my force. I think right now my legions in the dash is up to 12 or 1,300 points. Usually you start with 1,000, but you spend your victory points to up your point cost. So I'm using conquered enemies in my army now to expand my army. So each one of them's got a name, a running background, a history, yada, yada, yada. So you make this whole force and you're moving along. On the warband tables, you move along your battles, and you've got so many battles until you finish your campaign. Well, I think it's third battle is a convergence battle. So you don't draw the cards. You actually go to your convergence in the book, and you play out that scenario or campaign. Now, if I'm going to be playing that convergence battle, and you're going to be playing the opposite for me, if you win it, you can still move along on your campaign. But if you win it and I fail it, I don't move up. I have to keep playing that convergence until I win. But for you playing my convergence battle for me, you get an extra search for artifacts. So another cool thing is each character in your army can end up with a artifact of power and with a command trait, I think it is. So you can get artifacts of power where it's like it's expendable if such and such guy uses this, he can fly or move as if he's flying for the next turn. So, like, if you throw that on your commander, it'd be handy. Like, if he starts getting freaking gained up on, like, fuck this, I'm out. I'm going to run, and then I'm going to fly over these freaking buildings and land on the other side, can save you. So you can add these different artifacts that are like healing potions or, different things, whistle of such and such, or, different things to your individual guys. And some of them are consumable, so if you use it, it's gone. Other ones are like you have to roll each game round, and they might have basically just run out. So if you forget to use them and it runs out, well, tough stuff, it's out. Other ones are just kind of permanent. But you can get these different artifacts, things like that, build your characters up, their backgrounds and everything. So it's kind of bitching how you get into it. And each one of the factions has their own individual play styles. Like your Splintered Fang, they do a lot of poisons and things like that. Iron Golems tend to just be like blunt force. The untamed beasts are more animalistic, but they move relatively well. A lot of climbing, things like that. But they got a big ass lion thing as part of their squad, and he's a tank and he's fast as hell. So, depending on how you play, yeah, it dictates how it goes. I was looking at it. There's a faction in there. God, I can't remember the name of them, but these dudes, they cut their own faces off, and they've got these belt buckle things, these round steel buckles, and they stretch their own faces over it, and they wear their own faces on their belt buckles, and they cut off their own limbs and just made them into these weird weapons and shit. I want to make an actual carrying case for my warbands, but I'm going to use leather.
Make a face?
I want to weld that and make the face and stretch it over it. I think that'd be bitchin'.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be like a 1-day build.
Yeah, and then have the actual case itself. I want to do the Lexan or the plexiglass on the sides, and then have bar steel all welded up, and then have the trays, the racks inside, so I can actually slide it out and set it down and have each one of my warbands stacked in there. I think that'd be kind of bitchin'.
You know, I always think like cool games, like really interesting games. I feel like there's like stuff you can take out of it and actually put it into like the escape rooms.
Oh yeah.
For like what you were saying, where like each game you kind of improve your army or like lose something of your army. I keep saying like I want to have like a constant escape room designed to where you can keep playing it over and over again, where the previous games influence the next few games. So kind of like a legacy game. Like there's legacy board games that they take
the outcomes.
Yeah, they take it like a normal board game like Pandemic or Betrayal in the House on the Hill. Take one of those classic games and they turn it into like a actual story based, like every single time you play based on the success of your previous game, it goes through the story and actually develops like a plot, like a long term, many nights plot. And I really want to do like a game, like an escape room where you go into it over and over again to finally get like a true ending. So you play the same room over and over and over again. But like it's not just like you solving puzzles over and over again. It's like literally like, oh, what'd you do last time? Or like your team, whatever. Okay, here's where you left off last time you were here. And now go back into the room and continue. So maybe it's something like you're surviving in this, this submarine or something, and you're like making decisions and you're doing this, and then, you finally reach the climax of the story and then you leave. And then the next time you come back, like you continue it and there's like a new part of the story that you continue over and over and over again. And that would like require designing a room to where you walk in and then it's like
it can be tailored to the ending of the originals.
Yeah. So,
but you'd have to kind of standardize the endings. Like if you played it out this way and it ended this way, okay, cool. Then we can, you ended in type B or C or whatever. Okay, that dictates we start you off in type B or C over here, so that way you still play along the same quest line.
I was thinking that, or it could be like you have a set amount of, like, maybe it's like one plot line that continues on, but based on the decisions you make, you pick up different resources and supplies along the way. So, like, you reach this point in the road, and because you have X amount of supplies, it's now easier for you to achieve this. So, like, it's no longer a 40% chance for you to succeed. It's now a 70% chance because you picked up that thing way back there. And, like, it's just, like, based on the decisions you do and, like, your skills and your reaction time to do stuff. Like, how quickly did you, plug, like, let's do the submarine. How quickly did you plug in the hole before, enough water got in or something? So I really want to design a room kind of like that. But I also think, like, is it possible for us to, let's say we design the board game Pandemic, would it be possible for us to turn the board game Pandemic into an escape room somehow? Like, literally, like, the board game Pandemic never existed before. Can we turn that into an escape room? So that would be like you have to
Use the same formula concept.
Yeah, you have to collect 5 of the same color to cure that disease. So maybe they're going around the room trying to find like vials and get that piece of information. Once they have 5 of the same color, then they could like finally mix it together. And then like they have to spend those to get to different rooms or something. And just with that like that system, and every single time they play, it's like random. They dealt out, so they could play again because they know that next time they play, it's not gonna be the same as the last time. So it's random. So there's no puzzles there. There's no like when they play it the next time, it's not like, oh, we've done this before. All we have to do is this, this, and this. It's not like, oh fuck, all right, this time let's do this, this, and this, and maybe we'll be better off. And then they try it, and then it's different this time. They replay it, and it's like a great time. Because that would be cool, just turning like a board game that's awesome and turning it into like real physical, like real life, running around doing that thing. So
That's not a bad idea.
I almost want to like design a board game, and then once the board game's designed and it's fun, then make it into an escape room. Just like real life physical version of that.
This you got me thinking for setting up a room for 2 or 3 different scenarios, but all running in the same one, depending on the type of scenario. But then you'd have too much going on in one room, and it'd just confuse everybody because you'd have puzzles and pieces that didn't go to the scenario they were running through in the same room, and just catch everyone up.
So like what we could do stuff like we put resources around the room that are random every single time. So that adds a bit of like, oh, this time when we do it, we can do it better. That adds that element in there.
Yeah, replayability.
Yeah, like, all right, like we'll do it this time. Now we know what the pistol's for. Now we know what this is for. And then I want to have a way that we could display a scenario that isn't just like text or, whatever. We can actually give them like a dilemma to where they could do like a physical response instead of just being like, I choose option A. You know what I mean? Doing something like, who do you kill? All right, well,
okay.
We fucking do whatever.
All right, it's like a reacting room.
Yeah.
So depending on the choices made, the scenario plays out in different ways. All right.
So we could do stuff like they can unlock boxes that have good supplies in it. There's like few things we could do. We just have to come up with like the tools to be able to get what we want. And I think the baseline of it being a random setup and there's clear like rules in place, and there's like it's all decision based and it's like time based decisions. So when they play it, like it's not like anything where you can get spoiled. Like if we avoid like the potential to get spoiler alerts or anything like that, then there's the replay of like,
the replayability,
of it, and then they can go through and do it the next time. And I think that would be really cool as an escape room. And it'd be something that I've never seen before.
That's very true.
Like, have you ever seen True Dungeon? So True Dungeon's like a live action D&D. So they take like a building and then they build like labyrinth in it. They build like a room with a puzzle. They build like a trap. They build a whatever. It's like literally like a Dungeons and Dragons dungeon. And then you make a character at the beginning of it, and then you go through, and then you like.
I think I have seen something like that.
Yeah, and then the way combat's done is like there's like this shuffleboard, and you shoot a disc, and like that's how you do combat. But like same type of concept. Like we could add a sense of personality to it, to where like you design your character too. So maybe you design your character with, let's say, stats, so like 6 strength, 5 whatever, and 4 whatever. So whenever character A does something, he tries to attempt this task, because his strength is only 4, he only has a 40% chance of succeeding at this one task real quick. So if we could design a room to where that's a element too. Like I'm all about like
character immersion.
I think
play
I
the
think
version.
I think escape rooms should be live action games. I think that should be more of the definition than puzzle solving and escaping. Like
Yeah, no, you change it up, especially status quo.
Yeah.
Everybody just puzzles.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's like small stuff like challenges, like dexterity stuff and stuff
Mm.
like that. Like you have to throw a ball through a hoop or something. But I really think like you can take any board game, I'm pretty sure you can turn Monopoly into an escape room, or like that same concept. Like what if you had like, all right, you all, property entrepreneurs and you're rivaling against each other, so you have to navigate this room, find the best properties, buy them, make deals, and then whenever one of you ends up with the wrong property, you have to pay rent. Like you can turn that into just like a live action Monopoly game. Like that would be fun as fuck. Like I think you could do that with any video game series, any like board game series. You just have to like
Think about how it's gonna play.
yeah,
out.
reconfigure it to a live action version of it and then build the atmosphere around it and make them like feel like they're the character that they're playing and then actually do the game. Like I think that'd be
You are the boot.
yeah. I think it'd be cool I think that's the direction I want to eventually go with it. The next room that we're doing, we're starting to get real deep into the production of the lab. Should be opening that pretty soon. And then after that one, like we're straight up on the drawing boards. I want to do something really unconventional and different than we've done in the previous rooms. So the first two rooms, the lab's gonna be a little bit more high tech. There's gonna be some stuff I've never seen before, and it's kind of like our own homebrewed ideas. But after that, like I want to be like really unconventional and try to. I want to avoid puzzles as much as possible. I want to avoid stuff that once you know the answer to it, it's really nothing to you again. Like you could do it a second time, and this time you have an idea, but like you still it's still a challenge to you to have to like do it again. And then I think character creation is the way to go too.
Not a bad idea.
Even if it's like a few questions, and then based off those questions, you get different stats.
Yeah.
And
Here's your archetype. Here you go.
yeah, and we have to figure out a way to make it to where if you are the strong guy, you're able to do this, and nobody else can, or you're the one that's supposed to do this. So when you press on it, like it opens up, or however it takes. So like with if we found out a good way to do combat, if we found out a good way to, just like D&D, like, like they roll the dice to see if you succeed or not. We have to find a way to figure out if you succeeded, but like in a live action way, like a live action version of it. But that's going to take some deep thought and not just like a simple conversation like this.
You got me thinking though. Anyways.
I think it's time to wrap this one up. We're almost at an hour of solid conversation. I had to end it with some escape room knowledge, but
No, that's gonna happen. Right, got dinner waiting on me. The usual.
dinner at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock.
Not unusual for me. Usually I'm just, on my way down to work right now. So this is my morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Hooray, grave shift people.
What time do you wake up this morning or this evening?
Today I got up around 9, but it's my day off.
No.
So that's one of my problems is my Mondays are always 24-hour days.
Yeah.
Because I end up getting up like a normal human being on the weekends or my weekends. And then my Monday, I'm up 7, 8, 9 in the morning, but I don't get home till the following 9 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So get home, try to eat something, wind down, try to rack out, usually be 9:30, 10, and freaking rack out, and then 3, 4 in the afternoon, getting up, doing it again. But Mondays, always 24-hour day.
Well, tomorrow we got sushi, and then probably end the day with another podcast, but with everybody.
Yeah.
Not just one-on-one.
Try to get more people.
Trying to get to episode 10. That's the first little what's called a quarter milestone. Quarter? I'm drunk. Quarter milestone.
Milestone.
Quarter of a milestone is 10. I actually be 25, but whatever.
That'd be a 10th.
A tenth of a milestone. I'm trying to get to 10. 10 episodes. That's the goal for the meantime. We're at 5, so
All right.
each one we're improving quality a little bit.
Slowly but surely. We're working this out.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it for this one.
All right.
Bye bye.
Deuces.